turned up the gravity?
There was a moment in my life when I realized what it meant to be a smith. I was sitting on a bus, Fifth Avenue, just inbound from Craig Street in Oakland, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was nighttime, and I was sitting there, and I looked at the pole next to me, and I saw it hot from the forge with the plating flaking off of it, and I realized that I could heat it up and I could make something else out of it. And suddenly my world consisted of raw material.
We have opposable thumbs. Humans have had these for millions of years, and we've been using them to manipulate tools to alter our environments. For the last 3,000 or 4,000 years, those tools have been made by the smith. Okay, and tonight, you're in a smithy, you're wearing the apron, you're going to smite hot iron, you're going to be a smith. Right. Tonight, at least, maybe you'll take it home with you, I'm hoping. Smiths make the tools that other people use to alter their environments. Okay, already the hair is rising on my arms. We have meta thumbs. Okay? We have no excuse for putting up with stuff that doesn't work. We don't put up with crap. We fix things that don't work. That's what we do. Okay? So, if your piece is too hot, all right, it's red, just dark red on the one end, but if it's too hot on my end, I alter my environment. I cool it off. I use a tool. Okay? I make my life easier. If the anvil isn't the right height, we can fix it. If the bench isn't in the right place, we can move it. If the anvil's not in the right place, we can move it. If the forge isn't in the right place, we can move the anvil, we can move the bench. Don't put up with crap. Smith up. Fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, you find someone who does. That's probably me. Maybe him. Maybe. Could be. Could happen. Maybe Marion. This part looks just like that part. So it should be just fine to grab, right?
Yes.
Wrong. Very wrong. Okay. It can look like this up to about, in this environment, almost 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Hotter than you want to grab, hotter than you want to lick, but still not hot enough to work. When the mistake happens, not if, when the mistake happens, and it might happen here, it might happen in the kitchen, wherever. The moment you realize you have touched the hot thing or the hot thing has touched you, take the offended portion of your anatomy and plunge it as quickly as you can into the water. Right. The nearest water. There is water in that can, this trough, that can, and that can.
I had read a book over Christmas, and after break I got back, and one of the classrooms had an anvil and a forge, a gas forge, and a 4-pound hammer and a large bench vise on a heavy bench. And I heated stuff up and I started hammering it. And I think that may have been my first actual smithing. I grew up in Andover, Massachusetts. I was a townie, went to Andover High School. I spent a lot of time in the computer room, and then I spent a lot of time in the crafts room. Somewhere along in there I decided that I didn't want to fly a desk as a living. But well, we'll see how that came out. And I went to Carnegie Mellon as a sculpture major and ended up with a double major in sculpture and metalcraft. Discovered blacksmithing on the way. Ended up doing that for a while during what I call my self-unemployed period. And then ended up getting high-tech jobs. I was a CAD operator. I slung pizza for a while. I ended up being a type designer at Bitstream for 4 years. I was a type designer at Interleaf, then I was an interface designer, and then out of there I ended up being a programmer for 8.5, 9 years, working in Macromedia Director. Actually, I started in Macromind Director, and now it's Adobe Director, but I was there when it was Macromedia. Doing multimedia, CDs, educational stuff, and the programming thing kind of fell apart in '01, and I fixed watches and jewelry while you shop or wait at the Natick Mall for 3.5 years. Ended up managing the store. And then Mike and I opened this place. And this is what I've been doing for the last 7.5 years. It's the best job I've ever had. Best job. My ears ring 24/7, 365. They're ringing at around 12,000 cycles, and it's an incredibly high pitch. In fact, it's a pitch higher than I can hear anymore, but I hear it all the time. 24/7, 365. I can go for a walk in the woods, and it's rustling leaves, chirping birds, chipmunks running through the leaves, rustle, 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 and constantly. I will never hear silence again. Protect your ears. Don't be this guy, okay? A group of people had been looking to start an artist live-in workspace, and kind of likes the artist buildings over in the center of Waltham, and the group fell apart. But Mike and I continued kind of looking for some place to do something, some place maybe with the fire arts and smithing and glass blowing and ceramics and that kind of thing, with maybe a dance space and possibly a little bit of theater room. But anyway, at one point Mike went over to Metalworks next door here and said, "Hey, could we do a blacksmithing class here?" And Karen looked at him like he'd just grown a second head and said, "What is wrong with you?" No, can't, no, it wouldn't work. She was wrong, but she says, instead, there's this place right next door, this one, that's for lease right now. And we can give you hundreds and thousands of people that keep asking us for blacksmithing. And well, a few have come over. But that was in '07. Well, actually, that was in '06. We took the space and we opened for business in May of '07. And it's been growing since then. Square stock here and round stock here, and there's a forge weld in between. And when I got those going, I felt all Smithly, because in the books it says, oh, you know, the blacksmith would take a large stock and make the jaws and then take the round stock and weld it on there, because you wouldn't have to draw out all this and smooth it up and make it nice in the hand. You just take the round stock from the manufacturer and use it. And I had never done that until just a couple of years ago, and then finally I got it to happen, and I had my first welded raid tongs, and I was like, I felt so Smithly. So I've done this thing. You know, it's glorious, you know, to do some of the old stuff, like that trivet there.